Wow, well, this is fucking late as shit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I had to go and do some shit in real life, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to post devlogs at all for this game that we were working on. The game I'm talking about, of course, is Bird Tapper. Bird Tapper and the Great Krampusnacht Cleansing. There's a lot to say about this one. Pretty proud of it. It's one of the few web games I've developed where I can look back on it and say I was very proud of what I achieved. Moreover than that, it's the only web game I've ever developed that I could definitely see myself being a fan of if I hadn't made it. It's, as I said in the previous video, it's kind of a combination of this game Mortem Castle for the NES and Wario World for the GameCube. Part of that Wario World influence is very obvious in terms of the enemy design. In Wario World, you always had these three standard enemy types. The one was like a small version of like the basic grunt enemies. The second one was a basic grunt enemy that you could throw around and do all sorts of shit with. And the third version was like a huge enemy. In Bird Tapper, we kind of decided that the big enemy should also work like a bomb, basically. So as your reward for taking down this huge like boss character, you're also getting a reward in that you can pick up the corpse and throw it into a big crowd and get a lot of kills that way. Another part of Bird Tapper that I think turned out really well is the finger mechanic where he taps twice and then he slams his hand. Actually, when I was making Bird Tapper is actually from an animation that I made a couple years back, and he wasn't really designed to have the big arm. My friend Kupabara, who did the big like artwork on the game, he decided to add the huge arm because I gave him a propaganda poster from Pyongyang as a reference for composition, and he thought it would be funny to do that with it, which is fucking stupid, but it was hilarious. It turned out really well. And I'm seeing a lot of complaints. I mean, I'm still like not, it's been a while since Bird Tapper came out, but the real ones that I'm looking at that I think are pretty justified is the power-ups feel less than ideal, or they feel like insufficient in some way, and the difficulty. Now, I'll address the difficulty. It's not a game that's designed for everyone to be able to beat it. It's definitely sort of a masochore experience. It's a game that's extremely hard, extremely brutal, but the reward ultimately at the end turns out to be kind of worth it, at least I think. So in regards to the power-ups, I know there's a lot of discussion about that and the uselessness of the power-ups. With Mastero, it's a very situational based power-up. We kind of designed it for the purpose of shooting out and being very gimmicky, but at the same time it deals a lot of damage if you can manage to hit it. So I feel like I can kind of justify the inclusion of Mastero. Beans is another one that people seem to not like. It was just kind of designed as a pea shooter sort of gun type weapon that's pretty common in most platform games, at least. Not necessarily in top-down games. Maybe that's kind of like where we made our mistake. And lastly is Phone. Phone was actually born from a programming bug when we were initially working on Bird Tapper, where Zizo had programmed the arm and he hadn't set it to return back when it like shoots out. And that led to kind of a ball and chain effect that we thought would be really good as a power-up, and we modified that a little bit so it was more erratic and it would just move around all the time. Perhaps that wasn't the best use of a power-up, and in retrospect I think it definitely should be buffed to one-shot enemies but I definitely understand a lot of where that's coming from. There's just, I don't know, the power-ups in this game are meant to be more situational and kind of niche, so you're strategizing where to use them. And maybe that wasn't the best idea, but I do like that we took a risk, and this time it didn't pay off. But hopefully next time we'll take more risks and they'll pay off. Puppies were also something I saw a bit of controversy about. A lot of people don't know what they do. They're just really there to kind of weaken the boss and to be like a little extra pickup reward. But I thought it would be neat, and I was trying to do like a Snoopy Woodstock sort of dynamic that kind of flipped on its head. Little fun fact, I guess, for the end of the video. Gingerbread, who's the final boss of the game, his design is actually from when we were initially making the game. Zizo and I kind of wanted to do a fighting game about aliens and spaceships, and the alien would be flying around in the sky fighting each other basically with spaceships and abducting people to like throw at each other and kind of shit like that. The only design that ended up coming out of that I thought was very useful was Gingerbread's design, and I think I'm definitely going to use it for some more stuff in the future. Bird Tapper definitely has a future. There's another project I'm working on right now with him, and there's potentially a third project happening. I'm working on a jousting game with a friend of mine. I don't really know what else to say. Bird Tapper, I'm extremely proud of this one. This is, of the web games I've made so far, it's one of the highest rated that I've worked on very directly. That's pretty much all I have to say, and thank you so much for watching this video.